Hey guys, it's Yoan. Welcome back to the Yoan Gaming Show and another episode of Mindustry Basics. I guess we're not in the basics anymore. This is where we're getting into the intermediate to more advanced topics. Okay, so just so you guys didn't have to watch me do this, I built this base. It's pretty basic right now. I've got a silicon smelter. I had 3 of them, but I needed graphite, so I made a whole whack of graphite presses. You can kind of see where my ideas, like to separate them and everything. Oh, come on, just put her to bed. There we go. Okay, so you'll notice that I have some conveyor belts that are moving faster because this map had titanium on it, so I upgraded certain conveyor belts to titanium conveyor belts, which move way faster. You can see them outlined with blue. This is titanium on this belt. We'll just fly over here and I'll show you. I had some titanium there and some titanium there. To mine titanium, you need the pneumatic drill. It won't do it with the regular mechanical drill. Air blast drills and stuff that we're going to learn about later. Laser drill. Like I said, I haven't unlocked the air blast drill in my single player, but the laser drill is the next one up, but it's larger and it requires power. So this is what your best bet drill without power. So because it has so far to go, I have it all wrapping around here. You'll notice I have all these belts wrapping everywhere because I was having issues with flying units, so I made this big, long, convoluted loop, which is broken apparently. I haven't been over here in a while to see what was going on over here. See, we got air units that are coming in. They're trying to take everything out. Wow, man, we're having some problems here. Give me one. Give me a see, I've got scatters kind of all over the place because I have these bombers coming in and making a mess of things. Okay. So the reason I had... Seriously? You're still coming? The reason we had this thing all kind of all over the place was because the bombers will just keep coming trying to find the next best thing to hit. In this case, they hit these conveyor belts, they turn them into Swiss cheese, and then you've got big problems. Bridge conveyor here. This isn't the most secure. It's relatively easy for the flying units to get over. Hoping that once I repair this stuff, because I had left this for far too long. As you can see, there's a whole lot of broken stuff here. No power to that Lancer. I had more than one Lancer here. There. Now we're getting back to where we should be. Maybe we'll put 2 scatters there to try to deal with that initial blast. So what I was doing was I was trying to power get some, sorry, wrong direction, some power to this generator, because we had a little coal here, so I thought, well, why not use it? Because at the time I didn't have like a long distance power setup, and I was kind of worried that if I just had the one location, then we wouldn't have a healthy what's the word I'm looking for? A healthy electrical grid. That's what I was trying to say. So what I've decided, though, because we're having so many problems here, it's time to upgrade. So the next level gun we have is the Salvo, which is like the Duo, just bigger. And turn These conveyors. These conveyors were doing something else before. Oh, let me just load this gun up here. This isn't ideal, but we need something better here. Cancel that out. Okay. I don't even know what half of these belts are doing anymore because they've been smashed up so much. And we'll keep that scatter there. Yeah, the belts, they've seen better days. Anywho, LaRue. Okay, they're all like blocked because we've got the max out of copper going to the core. So now they're pretty much just loading guns. So the salvo, pretty good mid-range gun. We've got a couple of spots here that we can put them in to help the main line here. What we can also do, we have titanium walls, so we can upgrade to them because they are stronger than copper walls. What I thought I'd teach you guys today, is talking about larger guns, is I'm going to show you guys the Cryo Mixer. Because the Cryo Mixer is what you can make some really good, some cryo fluid to cool your setup. But because we talked about before, we need to make metaglass. So we need sand and lead to make metaglass. So now we've got a whole whack of lead here, like just like tons. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna build maybe a couple of these this time. I don't know, that's a good spot. We need sand. We have sand there and sand there. So it might be a little harder to split these up the way I wanted to them is what I was trying to say. So what we'll do is we'll come like this, that. Again, not ideal, but it's kind of a cramped space. Probably not the best place to be building these. So let's go pneumatic this time. Okay. Pneumatic drill there. Got the sand. So now we need to split the lead. So we take a router. Up there, and over there. So now, once we give this lovely device some power from over here. And this is kind of a way for you guys to kind of see the next step. Because it's easy for me to go, hey, this is what you do next. I don't want to do that, though. I don't want to send the metaglass down that line. Ooh, we got a big wave coming. I should probably check on that. Let's see. So we've got 3 Lancers here that are doing the brunt, the bulk of the work. But those salvos will help out a lot. Let's go check over here and make sure everything's still copacetic. Yep, everything's cool over there. So now we've got metaglass coming. So just for an example, we'll go with, let's find a gun. We'll just, you know what? We'll just stick with the salvo for now. Because what I want to do is just show what we can do with the Cryo Mixer. And we just want to find an area that's a little more open. And maybe, okay, for example, let's just stick it here because this is it'll shoot air units as well as ground units. And we take our Cryo Mixer. We're just gonna put it here for now. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. You can pump water. There's water there. So if we go in here, a mechanical pump, rotary pump. rotary pump is, I guess, uses 9 power. So in this case, let's just do the mechanical one for now. Oh, no. You know what? Rotary one, bigger one. Is that not water? Is that ice? You know what? Let's just put a water extractor beside it. So that should, once we give it power, that is. See, now we got the larger nodes now, too. Allows you to connect more things to it. This is going to spin up. This is going to start adding water to this. But the other thing we need is titanium. So because we have a fair amount of it here coming in, I'm just going to branch off. Branch off here, here, and here. So now, take a router, put it there, and our Cryo Mixer is going to start getting... Oops. Whoops, there we go. I'm like, why is it working? Okay, so now we have the Cryo Mixer's making the material. So what we have here is we have all the piping, but we also have a tank. So this is kind of like a battery. So what we can do is we can take this, pump it into here. Is it not making? Not enough water? It may not be enough water, so I'm going to add another water extractor to it. Just to see, now we're bringing up the water. And now this is going to fill with cryo fluid. It looks low because this tank has to fill first before this pipe is going to fill. So it's trying to keep up. So once that tank is filled, it can be used other places. See, the pipe's already got fluid in it because it's taking it from here. We have cryo fluid from like coming to the salvo, so it's gonna do higher. It's gonna shoot faster. So in this case, we need ammo for it because we don't have any thorium right now. So I'm just gonna branch off here and feed it just straight up copper. We'll junction that. Again, this is just an example. So now it's gonna, now this gun has cryo fluid. Cryo tank's filling. There's enough water here to keep this going. The tank's slowly filling. This is filling. So this is gonna provide a buffer. So if there's any sort of surge, it'll handle that surge. Just kind of the same way you have large fuel tanks at a gas station to like slowly feed out fuel. This is gonna do the same idea. As this requires cryo fluid, it will draw from here. So if this pipe here gets damaged right here, if this gets broken, it should take the remaining cryo fluid out of this tank and still feed it into this until it runs out. So this setup, I mean, this is a lot for one gun. This is way too much for one gun. But just to give you guys an idea, most of these larger guns use cryo to this is called a ripple. It uses graphite, I'm pretty sure, as its primary weapon here. Oh, we can use silicon, pyrite that we were making in the last episode there. But again, this is just to show you guys about the cooling systems. Pipe over, pipe up. Now it's cooled. So in this situation, we are pulling off the tank. What you could do is you can router off just like on a conveyor belt, and it'll split the because they're liquid junctions, bridge conduit, tank, and then a liquid router. So you could still use a liquid router. That would be more of a situation like if we came off like this, like straight off there, and we wanted to feed both of these guns in a different way. Like that. Oops. Router. There. So now it's going to split that cryo fluid the same way. We routered it again. It should... Yeah, it's slowly filling the tank. So now we've kind of bypassed it in a way. So there's that. So what else was I going to show you guys? We showed you the kiln already. The kiln. So we got these kilns going. I don't know, maybe to show you guys the incinerator. The incinerator is an interesting thing. Again, a little more advanced. So what you could do, where's the separator? Separator? There's one. Essentially what the incinerator does is if you have material you don't want to move on, which sounds kind of silly, but there are situations that require it, just to kind of clean up your setup. What you can do is you can set a, I may not have unlocked it in my single player yet. The sorter, here we are. So you take your sorter, place it there, and then, oops, I did not mean to do that. And I can tell it to sort out, see, say I want copper to pass through. Now, if I don't want it to, I can switch to something else. So copper is none of these things, so it's still spitting it into the incinerator, and it's gone. Like, once you tell it to go to the incinerator, it's gone. So that's in way more advanced machines. Sometimes you need to kind of turn production on and off, and an easier way than shutting off a belt, because the material just keeps coming indefinitely. Sometimes it's easier just to sort out certain materials. Ooh, man, that's a big wave coming. A lot of little guys. Let's see. That blow up. So, yeah, so anyway, sometimes it's easier just to click on it and say, well, I don't want copper on this belt anymore. So anything else that comes through here will pass through. Or sorry, anything else that's other than lead. Or in the metaglass. Or, is that graphite? Yeah, that's graphite. So again, you just tell it what you want it to split. And you can have multiples coming off. Well, because that's so close to this belt, it's spitting it left and right, which I guess is messing up things because we have too much. We've hit our limit when it comes to copper. So again, this is something you need to monitor as well to make sure you're, for lack of a better term, your simple machines aren't bleeding into each other. So that sorter is bleeding left and right. So what would probably be better would be to have it over like this, come down and over, and then say you want that to be sorted off. That. Come back in like this. And then off like that. So now it's not going to affect the other belts. So now if we click off, it's going to just spit it in the incinerator and clear the belt. And then we want copper again, turn it back on. So a little more advanced topics this time. Sorry I didn't get quite to talk to you guys about as much as we could have. Well, the metaglass is doing pretty well. So maybe I'll touch on this simple setup I did here. I'll just delete these, put the silicon back in. So what I did was I have the sand coming in, it routers off a bit, and then goes through a junction, routers off, and then we will that up and that up. So I have the coal coming down, routering over, and I also have it coming to this one. So it goes here, over, routers off to these. So this is going to feed that part of the, because remember we need coal and sand for the silicon smelter. So the sand, I have it down here, I have it coming all the way up to there, and as it goes up, it routers off to each one of these. And the coming down the opposite direction for the coal. So this kind of a simple machine. Again, you have to make sure that you're not bleeding into other belts, and that just takes practice. Like, believe me, something like this when I first started was like like brain surgery. There was no way I was making something like this. But the great thing is, like, when you play these kind of games, you just decide, well, I'm going to try something and see if it works. It's even better when you're playing with buddies on a multiplayer, because you can kind of work and build on stuff while they take care of the waves, which BS and Jam usually do with me. So it was great. We each got to kind of try to build different things that we wanted to try. So, but you know what, guys? I think I'm going to leave this episode here. So, yeah, we touched on Metaglass for piping, the Cryo Mixer, tanks, larger guns, the Ripple. You know what? Am I making graphite right now? I could build a Ripple right now. Let's just show you guys what a Ripple shoots like. Some big firepower going here. This one's not cooled. What we could do, just to help it out, we can do that. So now it'll fill with water. It's not as good as Cryo. Cryo gives you a better bonus. But it's better than not being cooled at all. We got a wave in 16 seconds, so we'll see. Hopefully they're not all flying units. Does the Ripple shoot flying units? Let's see what the Ripple shoots. Extremely powerful artillery turret, so it's going to hit ground units. And it's fully loaded. So let's see what we're getting this round. Is it a flying wave or a running wave? No, both. Uh-oh. Man, oh man. They really want... They really don't want me to be here anymore. It's like a bunch of horseflies. Like, it's just... They split up and they just keep snaking their way through. Well, while that's doing that, let's watch the Ripple. Because it's got a fair range. It's going to start firing, yep. You see the water's going down because it's trying to cool the gun. If that water runs out, it loses the bonus. What do we got left? A couple little fuzzy beetles here. Get over here, you. There we go. Okay. So, on that note, guys, I'm going to leave this episode here. It was a little hectic. It's harder now to show you the more advanced concepts, because you need to build up a base to be able to make and maintain and get those resources. So, but anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know how I'm doing in the comments. And as always, happy gaming.